The Mets did the right thing at the trade deadline. The Mets are not going on a run. I will not be suckered in. This is not happening. They are finished. Tommy Lugauer here. Evan is out. We will have a medical update on Evan later in the show. Tiki, now is your time to crow.
I told you so. The classic, I told you so. And I didn't, I waited. I waited for like an extra 6 or 7 minutes for you to text me and say, you were right, buddy. You did nothing. You made me reach out to you.
I forgot who was supposed to reach out to who, admittedly. so I'm like waiting on you as well.
Yesterday, we throw the Mets in truly as a toss-off. Not even to really talk about the Mets. But because I had been looking just for some positivity around what will ultimately be viewed, if they don't make it to the postseason, as one of the most epic wastes of $375 million ever. Mm-hmm. I think they built rockets that blew up that cost less than what Steve Cohen built on this team in order to try to win a World Series. It fell apart. He got rid of Scherzer. He got rid of Vernon. Got rid of everybody. You just stripped it down and just said, all right, guys, just go figure this thing out and play and have some fun. Maybe we'll bring up some of the young kids. But then they started winning some series. They beat Pittsburgh, the Pirates. Then they took 3 out of 4 from St. Louis. And it wasn't just the winning, because those are bad teams, right? They should, in theory, be beating those teams. It was It was the guys who were supposed to be playing well started playing well. Pete Alonso seemingly hits a home run every game. He didn't last night, but he mashed over the last
Jeff McNeil has woke up. Nimmo,
Jeff
Lindor
McNeil is hitting 350 over the last 30 games. He looks like the batting crown winner. Nimmo's been fantastic. He's got a career high in home runs already this season at 19. And Francisco Lindor, who people like to hate on for some damn reason.
He gets a lot of flack, and it's unfair.
He's been amazing.
Yep.
He has been, obviously with his glove, but also with his stick. And so just because the guys who had the pressure to be good started playing like they were supposed to, you see the tension just slide away. It gets easier for the DJ Stewarts, right?
Who's been on fire.
It's been on fire. It gets easier for the Aruzes of the world, who shouldn't be there, but whatever. He's good with his stick, good with his glove, not necessarily his stick. And it just feels like they're building off of one another. So going into last night's game, it was not like a proclamation that the Mets were going to figure out how to make the postseason and go on this epic, amazing run and challenge history. It wasn't that. It was, I just want Met fans to actually have some optimism in what is a lost season. And I said to Loogie, if they take 2 out of 3 or sweep the Atlanta Braves, all you got to do is win one more and get 2 out of the Met fans. You better start believing again and chase the playoffs. Nothing's going to happen when you get there because the Braves are better, the Phillies are better, Dodgers are way better. Everybody's better. But it's better to have something than nothing at all. That's all I was saying. And it came to fruition last night when they throttled the Atlanta Braves in truest.
877-337-6666. Tiki, you were right about last night, but you are not going to be right about this series. The Mets will not win another game in this series. And good job by the Braves fans last night. I think I counted 400 of them in the building, not exactly a playoff type atmosphere.
And then they pieced out early, too.
Oh, it was tough to watch on that part. But, yeah, look, they still have a lot of problems down in Atlanta. I'm still not buying into this. I'm still not believing into this. If you are a Met fan, if you have gotten sucked in, if Tiki has gotten you pumped up.
I'm not trying to suck you in on anything.
You are, though. You're trying to get us to run through a wall, and you got it right last night, but you're not going to get it right over the next 2 nights.
I'm just trying to get Met fans to be positive and pay a little bit of attention.
Well, good luck with that.
Just have some interest over these last couple of weeks. Obviously, football is going to start to take center stage. Yep. The Jet fan that is also the Met fan is going to say, yeah, forget those Mets. But they're going to be playing every single day. And the Francisco Lindors of the world, who sounded amazing. He said exactly what he needed to say after the game in the post-game press conference because he didn't want to talk about himself. Mm-hmm. Hit that screamer home run, right-handed. It looked like he was taking just an easy, like, wedge shot and crushed that thing. He scolded a little bit, but whatever. It got out of the ballpark. And he said everything right? It's all about the team, believing in themselves and just playing ball. And obviously he's been fantastic, but he's become I always question who was the leader of this team. In my mind, he's become that guy. He's like the go-to guy to get the pulse of the state of what's going on. And when he's playing that way and he's also speaking it the right way, it just makes it easier for everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Lindor's been their best player all year. Outside of the thing with Baez, and I think he understood that he did the wrong. You never go against the fans. You always lose.
Talking about old stuff?
Because I bring that up only because
that was like 3 years ago.
He had a situation, an incident with the fans early on. Yes. He learned from that. He's been a really good Met. Is he worth every penny? Probably not, but he's been their best player this year, and I actually do like Lindor a lot, and I think he gets a lot of unnecessary flack. Here's why they're not making a run. The rotation stinks. There's a bunch of teams in front of them, 4 or 5 teams in front of them in the wild card spot. They need a lot of things to break right.
All facts, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't root for them.
I'm not saying don't root for the Mets, but don't get sucked into this because they're not going to win a game. Will they even have the lead in any of these games?
Now, why
that's really what I want to. That's the real question.
What did I say? What did I say, Paul? What did I say yesterday? They're going to go out to a 3-0 lead. Didn't I say that?
They are going to get smoked in Atlanta.
Okay. They got out to a 3-0 lead, then they gave it back, and you wanted to quit and turn it off, and they found a way.
And I was right that the Braves would come back in the game, but of course the Mets rallied. They rallied off like 7 in a row, 7 runs in a row, and they smoked them.
I'm not positioning this as the Mets are going to do anything. I'm not. I'm just saying it's more fun when you can watch your team and actually enjoy watching what they're trying to do, even if they ultimately fall short. The Met fans have given up. They've just said it's not even worth it. This team stinks. They suck. All these guys.
Well, because they were bad in June and they traded off at the deadline.
Okay, great, but they're playing the kind of baseball that they should have been playing all season long. Now, what was going wrong early? What was wrong with McNeil? Right? I don't even know what the hell's wrong with Marte still. He's on the IL. Like, what was up with Francisco Lindor? Hell, Pete Alonso was hitting 212. He's a career 270 hitter. He's hitting 212. So something was awry. Mm-hmm. It started to come back. And not that you're hopeful for the postseason, but at least you're hopeful that they're building on something, and it's not going to be this 2 or 3 years, as Max Scherzer kind of intimated when he left and bolted out of town. It's not going to be this 2 or 3 years of wasteland. There's actually some good stuff happening with this Mets team. And hell, if they bring up Ronnie Mauricio or any of these young players and they just start to, I don't know, figure it out, it makes 2024 amazing.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Alonso is he rushed back early from injury.
Yes.
When he first got hurt, the Mets were telling you it would take a month. He was back way before that. When he came back, he struggled. I appreciate him wanting to come back early, but it clearly showed on the field because he was not the same guy. He has, kicked it into gear here. Yes, there's a different vibe. There's a different moxie around the team right now. Guys that were underperforming are now performing up to their level. But to me, the rotation's not any good. There's too many teams in front of them. And there's just this thing.
You keep saying
that.
No,
I know, but Tiki, what you have to understand here is with Met fans, and there's a psychology to this. There is trepidation, at least on my part, and I think I speak for a lot of you out there, that you don't want to get sucked back in here because you know what's going to happen ultimately.
Okay.
That we're going to get sucked back in. We're going to be locked in, and in September, they're going to fall flat on their face. A, they're the Mets, and B, they're just not really that good. And what we're seeing right now is a lot of just smoke and mirrors and I appreciate it because I like the fact, unlike the Yankees, they're actually trying, they're playing hard, and they're winning games. But to me, it's fool's gold.
To me, you keep saying this thing about this rotation. Kodai Senga is a really good starter.
I'll give you Kodai.
Right?
He's been great all year.
Jose Quintana's
pretty good.
He's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying David Peterson's a marvel. Why he kept throwing actually the home runs that he gave up to I'm forgetting his name. The Ozuna, the 2 home runs he gave up to Ozuna, they weren't horrible pitches. Not at all. But if it wasn't for that, David Peterson actually had a pretty good start.
Yeah, but Peterson, McGill, Carrasco, they stink.
I'm not saying I trust them.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying they're the worst pitchers in baseball. They're not having, Luis Severino type seasons.
Right.
And so they're not great with their rotation, but they got 2 starters who you could roll with. Drew Smith has actually been a lot better in the back end.
Yeah, the pen's been good
of the bullpen. So things aren't as dire. I'm not saying there's solutions. I'm not saying they're going to be great, but I am saying that the Mets are now more interesting than they've been for the most parts of this season. because they're actually playing good baseball.
877-337-6666. And there's the other notion that if they kept Scherzer, if they kept Verlander, both of those guys are washed. They're shot. I would have had zero confidence in either one of them in a big spot here. I guarantee you, if Max Scherzer was pitching in the series against the Braves, he would have got completely shelled. Verlander hasn't been great back in Houston.
That better? And holding your ex's animosity forward in your life, you just let it go, dude, and you start over. And you start over.
I'm trying to start
with the
over.
New girl with the.
I'm trying to
with the new look Mets.
I am,
and you feel good about it.
I've moved on.
Your relationship gets solid, and the next thing you know, you get a ring on it. I see what I did there.
And yada, 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 and we skip over the best part. Now, I gave up on the season. We all did. June killed it. They moved on. They said they were rebuilding or refurbishing or whatever reword they used. Now we're going to get sucked back in. I was ready to move on. I am happy with the rebuilding. I'm happy what they're doing. Build up the farm system, sort of a hybrid. Build up the farm system, also spend money. I want to move on from this season, and you and maybe some other Met fans out there want to get sucked back in. It's not happening. They don't have the rotation. There's too many teams in front of them. It's just not happening. Doesn't mean I'm not a real fan. Doesn't mean I don't root for them. I love the Mets. Have they ever loved me back? They have not. But I do love them. It's just I'm being a realist. I'm trying to be a realist in this spot.
I just don't understand why you're running from the possibility.
Because it's not happening.
Okay, maybe it won't. But at least you can believe it and start to channel it and, watch games with expectation that good things are going to happen like they did last night, as opposed to, woe was me. Woe was me is like, I don't know, it's depressing. Why even watch? Let's go watch some Netflix.
877-337-6666. Nathan is on the fan. What's up, Nate?
Hey, guys.
What's up, Nathan?
You are so smart, man. And Loogie,
I'm an idiot?
To me.
Yeah.
No, listen to me. I am 70 years old. I've seen every single Met year. When I was a kid in the 60s, they sucked. Guess what? They won in 69, and it was like the greatest thing.
Right.
Then in the late 70s, they sucked. What happened? The 86 team was amazing. Okay? Amazing is the key word. You have to, listen, Loogie, we all know they're not coming back. This team is a flawed team.
Right. Yes.
But
very.
Dickie's right. But there's always hope. As long as you're freaking breathing, man, there's always hope. And even if they suck, Loogie, what you grow up as? A Met fan, right?
Yes.
So this is what it is to be a Met fan. You got to have pain, man. It's like almost like, it's like almost being a Jet fan. Luckily, you are not a Jet fan.
No, I am a Giants fan, and thank God for that, because they've given me my two best sports moments of my life. It's not about the history. You kept bringing up this year, that year. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about this year. This team is flawed. This team doesn't have a great path to get to the postseason.
But don't you see them working hard?
Yeah, no, I lie. They're likable. I'll give you that. I mean, they are a likable team.
DJ Stewart squeeze bunted, and on the broadcast, Keith and those guys, they were saying it wasn't even called. He did it on his own, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that was the case, but whatever, because he bunted twice.
Yeah.
But still, you got to squeeze bunt to score a run. This is the Mets that we saw last year. They were doing whatever it took to manufacture runs. They're finally
but it's too
back.
little, too late.
Okay, even if
Theo, when he bunts again, here comes Alonso to the plate. Hand up with the ball. His play is to first. In time, Stewart is out, but Alonso scores. Vogelback goes to second, and it is 7-4 New York.
Even if it is too little, too late, this is the Mets you wanted to see. If it doesn't amount to anything postseason-wise, at least this is the Mets team that you want to watch, that you'll turn on and enjoy how they play the game.
Absolutely, and I'm very positive about the future. I'm very positive about the Steve Cohen era. They are going to get smoked. Shut in Atlanta. Recorded Tommy. I don't want to hear it. They will win a World Series in the Steve Cohen era. The Mets will. I fully believe that, because I think he has a massive ego, a massive pocketbook.
Yes.
He will figure it out. So far, it's been a failure, but he will figure it out. Now, Vinny likes your dating analogies. Vinny's in Queens. What's up, Vin?
Hey, actually, I don't like the analogy. My thing is,
Vinny.
my thing is, Tiki, you're talking about moving on from that long-term relationship, finding a nice new girl. The issue is it's the same girl. The problem is I haven't talked to her in a while. I haven't watched any Met games in a while. But now I'm hearing from my friends, hey, she's starting to look good. She lost some weight. Hey, but you know what? It's the same team.
Oh, Vinny, why'd you have to go there, bro?
but if I start to hear like her personality change a little bit, she's a brand new person. You know what? Maybe I will be back in. But it's the same team. It's the same.
She cleared
girl,
all her
right?
debt, all that stuff.
man.
Yeah, she doesn't have credit card debt
Vinny,
anymore.
that's funny.
That's the thing.
You got me, Vinny.
And
Sorry, dude.
Evan could speak to this as well. There is a psychology, specifically with the younger Met fan, I would say like 40, early 40s and under, that sort of feel like, yeah, look, the Mets have run up an unlimited tab, a lot of losses. So we have that sort of feeling where the other shoe's going to drop, it's going to go badly. So there is part of that with this. I'm not going to sit here and act like that has nothing to do with what I'm saying right now, but I am trying to look at it from a realist perspective and not just like the Mets always stink, woe is me.
Well, it's also a historical perspective.
Right.
So you can't not remember history. So that's making you believe that whatever is going to happen in the next month and a half with this Met team,
right,
it's going to mimic what happened in history.
Well, forget history. Last year, they reminded us.
Well, I mean,
they were quick to remind us last year.
But they won 101
No,
games.
But don't do this. Don't do this.
Seriously,
don't do
it's
this. Doesn't matter how many games they won last year. They blew the division and they got bounced by the Padres in the first round.
Well, that's just because the Braves were really good.
No, and the Padres are really good, but the Mets just completely imploded. So yeah, I don't care if they won 4,000 games last year. It didn't end well. And again, I'm very optimistic. I'm very happy with the direction of the franchise.
You just don't want to see it this year.
I don't believe in it.
Care.
So I definitely care.
What you're saying is you don't care.
No, I absolutely care. I'm just not being suckered in because I understand that they don't have enough talent. They are clearly rebuilding. Yes, they've been spunky this month. They've given us something to watch. Awesome. But I'm not going to get suckered in and believe that they're going to make a run because they're not. They're just not.
6.5 games out.
Teak, do you honestly think they're making the postseason?
I said if they take 2 out of 3 or sweep the Atlanta Braves, I'll even concede just 2 out of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. I think they are going to make the postseason.
There you go. Met fans, Tiki thinks the Mets are making the playoffs. Let's go to Nash in Somerset, New Jersey. What's up, Nash?
Hey, guys, what's going on?
What's up, dude?
So here's the problem. The problem is I'm a Mets fan since '84. The problem is, and you guys said it earlier, is expectations. Anytime the Mets have expectations, it goes bad. I mean, the reason why they won 101 games last year is because they weren't expected to win 101 games. And as soon as they were expected to win,
maybe not 101, but they were expected to win like 94 or 95. Right? They had a good squad last year.
Exactly, and they fell apart at the end. I thought the worst thing that happened was we spent all this money and had a $373 million payroll because I knew it was going to fall apart from the beginning because the expectations were too. The Mets are never good when they have a target on their back, and when you get a target on their back, that's when they fall apart. The reason why they're playing well now is because, like you said, nobody cares. Like they have no target in the back. There's no pressure, so all of a sudden they're starting to hit again.
Well, Nash, there was a lot of things this year too. Diaz getting hurt. They spent their money on Scherzer and Verlander. Obviously, that didn't work out. They gave McNeil. I understand it's a good contract, but he didn't play well. He's starting to hit now. Marte, I think, has looked. Now he's been banged up. The migraines. He to me looks shot or disinterested or checked out. I don't know what the hell was going on with him.
He's probably the weirdest one.
And they got him for a few more years. And I've always wanted Marte on the Mets. I wanted him forever, and I hope he recovers from this because I think he's part of their plans. They got him for a couple more years. But the guys that weren't performing, to Teek's point, have started to perform now. They have. The guys are starting to hit, and they got a little mojo going. There's no doubt.
And just think about this. After Hoff shaved his head, we won 6 in a row and then fell apart. So it doesn't matter.
So what does he got to shave his ass now and they'll win 8 in a row? We love you, Pete. Enjoy Magic Kingdom or whatever he's doing right now.
His hair is like fully back now.
Is it?
I don't know. Is it?
I have no idea. He wears a hat like me.
I've only seen him on social media.
877-337-6666. This is Tommy Lugauer, Tiki Barber. Evan is still out sick. Now, we will, coming up, have a medical update about Evan.
How's the hand, foot, and mouth?
I will tease it with this. Evan, we misreported it yesterday.
Uh-oh.
He does not have hand, foot, and mouth disease. We will get into what he actually does have, and we will also take more of your calls on the Mets, the Yankees. There's a very interesting situation tonight, Teak. If they lose this game, we will get into that. Mekhi Becton is going to be starting at right tackle against the Giants.